So today I will be making a tutorial video for the PlayStation emulator called RPCS3 Emulator, and you need a pretty decently powerful computer to use this emulator. As you can see here, desktop requirements is the minimum requirement is any x64 CPU with 4 cores and at least 8 threads for a Intel or a AMD. So for Intel, be an i7, I guess it could be a 4th generation, 6th generation, 7th, 8th generation, 9th generation, or whatever, with 4 cores. That would be an like an i7 10700K, an i7 11700K, or something like that. Or for this computer, it's an i7 4790K. That would be the minimum requirement. And for recommended is at least a computer with 6 cores. I'm sorry, the i7 10700K has 6 cores. That's the one that I have. The one that I'm using right now is the i7 4790K, and that's got 4 cores and 8 with hybrid threading. So GPU, you need a Vulkan compatible GPU, maybe something like a Geforce GTX 10 series, 1060, 1070, 1080, or a Geforce RTX 3000 series. It could be a RTX 3060, 3070, 3080, or something like that, or a RTX 2060, 2070, or 2080. You need at least 4 gigabytes of RAM for minimum requirement, but 8 is recommended. SSD or hard drive can be used. At least 512 megabytes of data, or 5 gigabytes for the hard drive, because the Sony PlayStation 3 does install some games on hard drives, like some of the bigger games like Metal Gear 4. So operating system Windows 7 to Windows 11. You need this thing. This is called a I think this is a firmware update. This is what you will need to download. You may need this if you don't have this already. You may need to get this and install it. For me, I did not have to do that. And I'm using Windows 11 on this computer. Okay, so let's begin. So what do you need? Of course, you need the emulator. So we're going to go download the emulator. Here. Go there. Don't have to click on that ad. Just download this. It's about 20.6 megabytes. The one that I have is for Windows. I'm using Windows 11 on this computer. Just click on it and it'll download like that. Just open it up. Right there, I'm gonna make a folder called PlayStation 3, and I'm gonna put that stuff in there. Put all the files. You will need a program called 7-Zip. If you do not already have it, you can go here and download it. Just select the one for your operating system. For me, it's Windows 11 64-bit, so I selected that. Just install it into your computer. show more, go to 7-zip, extract files. I want to extract it here, so I'm going to copy that, paste it here. Okay. So now the file's here. That's where my emulator's at. And I need to get one more thing. The firmware. Now this is where the firmware is at. I think it's the same one. Let's go here and download it. It's not a security risk. You could download it. This is from PlayStation's website, by the way. Sony PlayStation. So I'm not downloading it from a malicious source or anything. It's downloading right now. It's almost done. It's about 200 megabytes data. So I'll open this up. Okay, so that's where the file is at. So I want to copy it here. So now I have it here. I'm going to put it into the PlayStation folder. And that's the firmware file, by the way. So now I'm going to start the emulator. Actually, I'm going to put it on my desktop so I can access it more easily. Send to desktop. So I can just start it here. Click on that and click on that, continue. First thing we want to do is install the firmware. So this gets you to your PlayStation 3 directory, and this is where I put it earlier. It's going to take a little bit of time for it to update and everything. So it's compiling PPU modules. This will take a couple of minutes. The PlayStation 3 is a pretty powerful video game console. So I'm going to check how many PlayStation 3 MIPS. Megaflops, sorry. Gigaflops, I'm not sure. How many gigaflops does it have? 179.2 gigaflops, okay. Now I'm going to look at the gigaflops for my computer. Gigaflops. This is the CPU that I'm using. It has 267.4 gigaflops. And that's 179.2 gigaflops. So this computer is going to have a pretty difficult time running this emulator, I think. So you need a pretty powerful computer to run this thing. Just want done now. So this is a Haswell chipset. This computer is an i7-4790K. Barely meets the requirements. Okay, now let's see. What I want to do now is I'm going to have to go to my other computer now. But before that, I'm going to show you some stuff. You have something called compatibility. And this basically allows you to check to see which games are compatible. So I have two PlayStation 2 games. First one is Ninja Gaiden's Sigma. This one is playable. If it's kind of like iffy and not really compatible, it's going to say in-game, or it's going to say some games are not even, don't even work, basically. The games that either can't be finished, have serious glitches, or have insufficient performance. Okay, the next game is Blazing Angels. This one is going to have some compatibility problems as well. But anyway, nevertheless, I will be using this PlayStation 3 disc dumper, and you'll have to download this if you want to run PlayStation 3 disc games. For some reason, you can't run the discs from the original PlayStation 3 discs. I've tried, and none of them ran. So if you want to get this disc dumper, you can get it. On this website right here. I have Windows 64, so I'm going to select that and download it. But I have to do this on my other computer because this one does not have a Blu-ray drive. It's only got a DVD drive, as you can see. So now we're just going to configure everything. I don't think you have to touch anything here. From what I've read, if you want to change the resolution, you don't change it here. You just go here and change it. So now it's at 1080p. It's at 1040p. I'm just going to leave it at default. But if you want to change it, you can change the scale here. And the higher the resolution, the more demanding it's going to be on your CPU. Just going to leave this like that. Just leave this pretty much like it is. You could select the region. For me, I live in the US, so it's US, America. Keyboard is US standard. Just leave it like that. If it's not right, you can change it to your region. Okay, applying that, just leave it. And I have a gamepad. You could play with the keyboard if you want. I don't have a PlayStation 3 or a PlayStation 4 gamepad, so I'm gonna select that. Here you have to do some tweaking here. D-pad up. I'm gonna go here. That's left. Right top. As you can see the 6 here. It kind of like has it inverted. Select. So start is at select, and it's kind of like inverted here too. So I'm gonna press start. I don't have a PlayStation button here because my gamepad doesn't have it. It's a Logitech F310 gamepad. So I have to change something here. This is kind of inverted to left stick up, left stick down. So if you don't change it, it's gonna be like inverted. So if you press forward, it's gonna go backward like that. So right stick up, right stick down. So as you can see, this is responding, so that's good. So I'm gonna check for the horizontal, it's fine, no problem. I'm gonna change it here. That's triangle. As you can see, triangles here, which it shouldn't be. Square, circle, and cross. That's on the bottom. I think that's good. Now the controller's set. Okay, we're all good here. So now I'm gonna go to my other computer and use the PlayStation 3 disk dumper to create a compatible ISO file which will run on the RPCS3 emulator. And let's see, what you need is the disk dumper, which I showed you. I'm using Windows, so I'm going to select this. You press this, it's just going to download like that. Downloading right now. And I'm going to put it into my emulator folder. Okay, I'm going to go here to downloads. And I'm going to go to my emulator folder and I'm going to put it right. Actually, I'm going to open it up and put the file in there. Okay, now it's in there. And you have IRD files as well. So you can go here to this website and select the one for your game, which I will show you on the next part. Or if you want, you can download all the IRD files. You could download all the IRD files here. Select this one. You could download it as a zip file. And then you could put that. I'm just going to create a folder in here called IRD. IRDs, plural. IRDS. And I'm going to dump all my IRD files in there. You could do that. Or you could download, you could put one at a time. Either way, either one is okay. So if you go to this database, you can put in the IRD file, which I'm going to show you next. Okay, so I'll show you. Okay, so I'll be trying to run Blazing Angels 2 for the PlayStation 3, and I will also be trying to run Ninja Gaiden Sigma for the PlayStation 3. And in order for you to use the disc dumper, you need to get the IRDS numbers, which is right here for Blazing Angels 2. That's the IRDS number for that. BLUS 30052. And for Ninja Gaiden Sigma, it's right there. It's BLUS 30036GH. So those are the IRDS numbers that you will need to use the disc dumper and get the media into a usable form so you could use it in the PlayStation emulator or the RPCS3 emulator, because it's not going to run on from the disc, because I tried to use it from the disc with my Blu-ray drive and it failed to work for both, for every game basically. I thought you could just put the disc into the Blu-ray drive and you could just run it like that. For me, none of them ran like that, so I will be using the disc dumper on my computer that has a Blu-ray drive in it next. Okay, now I'm back on my i7 computer, i7-4790K computer, and now I'm gonna put the games in here. I'm gonna create a folder called Games in the PlayStation folder, or a PlayStation 3 folder. I'm gonna put Ninja Gaiden in there and Blazing Angels. So I completed using the PlayStation 3 disc dumper for both. So now the game should work. And this computer doesn't have a Blu-ray drive, so I couldn't run it in its Blu-ray disc format. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go here and start the program, or I could go here and start it as well. I already started it, so let me close this and restart it again. Okay, good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that program. Just go to Boot Game. Let me select that. Let me find that folder. It's here, so I'm going to copy that. You could press Control-C and copy it as well. Boot, and then just put Control-V, enter. This one, it says was compatible, so all you have to do is go here and click select folder, and the game should just run. Right now it's compiling PPU files. This could take a little bit of time, and it does use up a lot of your CPU power. As you can see, it's using up 100% of my CPU power. That's not good. Hopefully it does this quickly. So right now it's working. For some games like Metal Gear 4, you're gonna have to wait maybe an hour or a couple of hours to get the compiling PPU modules, and it's a real pain. And also you have to install the game on the hard drive, because Metal Gear Solid 4 requires you to install the game on the hard drive, even on the PlayStation 3. For this game, it's pretty quick. I didn't have to tweak anything to get this program to run, or this game to run. But for some games you do need to tweak it, and I'm going to show you that next. I'm just going to run this game to show you that it does work. I also want to monitor how much CPU power the emulator uses when I'm running a game. So all the compiling work, as you can see, is done here on this log right here, or logs. When I tried to run this on the i7-10700KF, compiling PPU modules was much faster, because it's a much faster computer. It's working. So I press X, 50 to 70% of my CPU power It's running pretty slow. Definitely need a faster computer to run this. Nevertheless, it is running. It's quite demanding. Game's running, but it's using up a lot of and like I showed you earlier, this is a game that is compatible. So this game runs pretty good. So to get out of it, just go back here to this console and just press stop, and you should be able to leave the game. So now I'm going to run another game, but before that we have something called Wiki RPCS3. This will show you how you can set the game so that it would become more compatible. This game. Blazing Angel 2, okay. That's the one that I want. Just like that. It shows you how to configure it so it would become more compatible. But for this game, I didn't find that to be true. So I'm gonna select that game. CPU modules. It's using up a lot of my CPU power. It's running very, very hot. CPU monitor. And using the video capture certainly doesn't help it. Running at about 147 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's running fairly hot. Thankfully I have a pretty good CPU heatsink in this computer. So it's keeping the temperature pretty low. Okay, it's running. Start. Let's see. I think it crashed. As you can see, the clock isn't moving. I'm gonna stop that. And maybe I can get it to work if I use custom configuration. Do what the web page states. Precise. There's no precise here. Interpreter. Try static. SPU decoder. Precise would be accurate, I think. Apply that and save it. Now let's try running it. Just double click on it. Very slow. long as the clock's moving, it's fine. But when it stops, then we have a problem. Okay, now it's running, but it is extremely slow. Using 95% of my CPU power. God damn it. Okay, I'm gonna end it. I don't think this thing could handle it. Stop. Okay. So you saw that it works, and as you can see here, this is not really compatible. This one is playable, and as you saw, I was able to play Ninja Gaiden Sigma. However, I did have problems running Blazing Angel 2, but I was able to get it to run by tweaking the settings, by going to RPCS3 wiki and seeing how I could make this game work by changing some of the settings, and I was able to do that. But on this computer, I was having some difficulty. So that's how you get the PlayStation 3 emulator to run on a computer. And like I said, you need a pretty powerful computer to get this to run. And I'll leave all this in the video descriptions below, so you can find all the software that you need to get this emulator to run. You could download ISO files or image files for PlayStation 3 ROMs, but these ROMs are pretty big in terms of like space. Like for example, this Blazing Angels 2 game was 12.7 gigabytes. This one was about 11.4. Metal Gear 4 is as large as 30 gigabytes. So you want to see which games are compatible before you use PS3 disk dumper, or download it as a ROM or whatever, or as an ISO file, because these are big files and you'd be wasting a lot of time getting a ROM or a game that doesn't work. And you could check for compatibility for games here. Just type in the game that you want to run. Let's type in Metal Gear. Let's see. Metal Gear Solid 4 in game. Okay, so you can check here for it if you want. See which games are compatible or not. Green means they're playable, like Ninja Gaiden Sigma, which you saw earlier. That game was playable, so that's how you do it. So if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below. And thanks for watching my Ace 1000 KS 1975 signing out.